Hey guys, I have been wrestling lately with the idea of being self sufficient for me and then teaching others how to be self sufficient. Thinking I was doing the right thing, but first of all, is it the right thing? Do I really need to be self sufficient? Do you really need to be self sufficient? This world seems to be, over the last 4 years or so, it seems to be moving in a direction where it feels like we need to be self sufficient. A couple years ago, I started feeling this really strongly, and I basically started making decisions out of fear. And I really didn't let you guys in on that part of it, the fear part. This all started shortly after we moved onto this property. When we moved here, it was all about getting more property for themed gardens. Shortly after we were here, I slowly started feeling this need, again, out of fear, to become self sufficient as fast as possible, to produce as much as we can here from our land and then expand on that as fast as possible. We were always going to have chickens for eggs, we always have. We were going to have a garden, obviously. At our last house, our garden was small, and here, in a lot of people's eyes, it's a big one. Not big enough, probably, definitely, to produce everything that we need. I began to feel the need for a dairy cow because I felt like, you have the vegetables, and then you could have the protein and fats from the dairy, and then the eggs, and that could get you along, food-wise, pretty well in hard times. Wanted beehives for honey, sheep for wool. I mean, every decision that I made, really, in the back of my mind, it was like, how is this going to push us that direction faster? And then beef from Daisy's offspring. And then if I could get more property, having pigs and pastured chickens and maybe turkeys. Of course, all of those meat animals would require something of me that I never really sure I was going to be able to do on my own, and that would be processing them. We were fortunate that when we moved into this house, there were a ton of solar panels on the roof already, but the way they're set up, if the grid goes down, we have no power anyway. That's just the way it's set up. So then I started thinking about Tesla power walls and maybe even more panels to make sure we had more than what we needed to use. For water, fortunately, this valley is very rich in groundwater, but we need to drill a well to access it. I really just started thinking about everything from what is the worst that can happen and how do I prepare for that. In just a year or so, I had gone from being here and creating these, beautiful gardens to enjoy, to everything now was how do I prepare for the zombie apocalypse. The worst part about it all, though, was my struggle with being open and honest with you. I was starting to want to hide certain things from you, mostly about the way I was feeling and why I was trying to do all these things. Not because I felt they were wrong, I felt they were right. And that was the struggle, not wanting to tell you because I didn't want to instill fear in others. There are so many people from so many walks of life that watch this channel. Some are here for some serious homesteading to move alongside me. And some are here to just enjoy kind of watching what we're doing, who maybe live in an apartment or something that they're not even trying to homestead, but they're enjoying kind of, and they say this, kind of living vicariously through us. So how could I tell, especially those people, if you don't do what we're doing, then you're in for some trouble. I am a catastrophizer. It's part of my medical anxiety. It's part of my ADHD. I always look ahead and figure out what the worst outcome could be, and in my mind, that's what's going to happen, and that's what I need to prepare for. But where we were and where we still are is so far back from where I want to be or where I felt I needed to be. It became too much, and it was creating so much anxiety in me, and I was feeling very unprepared for whatever insecurities might be coming down the road. How could I get all this done? Become 100% self-sufficient as fast as possible? And I finally figured it out. I can't. It's physically impossible. I'm just one person. And what I wanted to do or felt that I needed to do it couldn't be done with just me and even Emily and Noah. It requires too much work, too much money, too much time. That was a really hard realization because even though I came to that conclusion mentally that that was the answer, I can't do it. All the anxieties that I had built up over the past couple of years don't just vanish into thin air. So the struggle continued. In May of this year, as a lot of you know, the School of Traditional Skills sent out a film crew here to film over a 3-day period. And this was not the first time that they had done that. They were here 2 years before that. And a lot of it was the same crew, both times. The first time they were here, they were kind of new to this whole thing, but during the 2 years between those two visits, they had been to a lot of the best homesteaders there are, and seen kind of how things work and what you do. And the second time they were here, I think almost all of them, if not all of them, either had a homestead already going on, they had jumped right in, or it was definitely on their to-do list and they were working toward that as fast as possible. So it was fun to sit around on breaks and at lunch and talk about homesteading and kind of what they had learned, what I had learned, what our dreams and hopes were for our homestead. I didn't know anybody else personally who was in the homesteading world and doing anything like this. And so it was just nice to have that camaraderie and just that talk back and forth. Now, this crew was from all over the country. However, there were a couple of guys in the crew that lived locally, like within a half an hour of me. And we had got to talking and we found we had a lot of similarities and we really hit it off. They're both just a little behind where I am right now, but we're all on a similar path. And I got a taste of something that kind of calmed that anxiety about having to be 100% self-reliant or self-sufficient. I came to realize I don't have to be self-sufficient if I have a community of like-minded people around me, people who I can work with, people who have different expertise than me, who pick up where I leave off, people who can share the workload or share what we do. We need community now more than ever, not just for homesteading, but just as human beings. 2020 took community away from a lot of people. And without community, we become weaker. 100 years ago, people depended on their community. They worked together toward a common goal. And I feel like nowadays, that is almost gone. People are in it for themselves, and you almost have to be because there is no community. It's you against the world. You depend on yourself, or you depend on the government, or both. But I think deep inside, there's something missing. There's a longing for community, a longing to belong somewhere. If you've been with me for a while, you've heard me talk about how frustrating it is for me to not be able to interact with you through the screen. This is a very lonely job. I've heard that from many people who have YouTube channels. It's just me here talking to my camera. There might be millions of eyes on me, but it's just me. We've built this large following here on YouTube, but it's very one-sided. It's me talking and you listening. And the comment section is great, but you really can't get into a meaningful discussion in the comment section. Still comment, though, it helps. So the puzzle was still missing a piece. However, the two guys I met with School of Traditional Skills, Jacob and Clay, they had the piece to that puzzle. Not just for me, but for all of us. So I've been working on something with them for a while now. Something that I've talked about wanting for a long time, and a lot of you have approached me about doing something like this. I just had no idea what to do or how to do it. But Jacob and Clay, they knew what to do, and they knew how to do it. We are building an online community, a community where we can come together with like-minded people to share our thoughts, our experiences, just life, without the fear of big tech coming in and deleting them. Subjects as tame as raw milk can be censored or deleted on your traditional, big social media platforms. But this community isn't just for serious homesteaders, it's for all of us. For those of us who want to share and glean ideas about maintaining the healthiest pasture, to garden to table recipes, and just people who want to connect with me and my family. We have built the town square for the community to meet. All we need now is you to come to the town square and start connecting with me and with each other, both online, and our goal is in person. It's more than just a community, though. There will be a place on there for you to come and watch my YouTube videos without ads. You don't have to sit through YouTube commercials anymore. We're also going to have a section where you can take part in monthly Zoom calls with us, and we'll be constantly adding things as time goes on. Now, I want to be upfront with you. As much as we would love to make this a free platform, there is a cost to build and maintain it. We're not a big tech company. We're just three guys who have a dream of building a place that will be far-reaching and meaningful to so many. Your number one area to come and get information and support, both from an online community and from people right in your hometown, in person. That being said, our number one goal is to not have price be a stumbling block for you to be a part of this. So we're doing it in such a way where there will be something workable for just about everybody. In fact, we are launching a week from today, Sunday, October 20th. The success of this depends on filling the town square with community members. I'll be there, but I'm always here. Like I said, being a YouTuber is lonely work, and I'm finally excited to be going into a place where I'm not going to be lonely anymore. But to get as many members into the town square as possible, we are offering special pricing up front for inaugural members who are going to be on the ground floor of helping us build this community. On next Sunday's video, I'm going to be giving you some more details. But for now, if any of this sounds the least bit fun or interesting, I'm going to leave a link down in the video description to sign up for our email list so you can be the first to know when our town square is open and ready for you. Really hope to see you there.